established a new organisation as part of your transformation, and you were quite explicit in having kindness as one of the values. Now, I found that surprising and intriguing. I wonder if you can tell me a little bit more about how that happened and how that sort of manifested in operations.
So investing in getting that aspect of the new organisation right was fundamental to my approach, and I think should be to all organisations. I think many organisations talk the talk, but don't necessarily walk the walk. And the other, by happenstance, and often isn't life a little bit like this. Back in 2019, as I was leaving my last organisation, one of the most amazing things happened to me was that my own team, unbeknownst to me, nominated me for an award, which was the Kindness in Leadership, Leading Lights Kindness in Leadership Award. And one of 50 in the UK nominated that year. My sporting hero, Jürgen Klopp, was one of the fellow award winners. But I have to say, although I've had a national award from Her Majesty, late Majesty, in many respects, I think this award was one of the most wonderful awards to receive from my own team, off their own volition. And that led to me becoming a judge on the panel for Kindness and Leadership. And on one of those occasions, I was chatting to one of my fellow judges, and I was talking about this ambition with the new organisation, and she said, well, you should speak to this professor at Oxford. He has done some research on what constitutes high performance and the values that ground that performance. And that led to a fantastic conversation with Professor Lallet, where we talked about performance. And his philosophy and theory, academically proved, is that high performance is a function of collaboration. And that collaboration is founded on effectively 4 values being present: respect, trust, understanding, and kindness. And they are fundamental to creating that collaboration, therefore leading to, he talks about the intensity of collaboration, which underpins high performance. I really like that. It really resonated with me, not least because I've been in too many organisations where we seem to have just values for values' sake. You know, why are those values? And no one could ever give me a sort of logic to say, well, it's because we want to achieve X, Y, or Z. I can tell you, selling the case was difficult. The reaction, certainly from some of my military colleagues, was very sceptical to begin with. Quite a lot of civilians actually responded quite well to it. You won't be surprised, perhaps slightly stereotypical, but a lot of the female staff responded to it, I think, more positively, at least initially. But then I reflected actually on those military experiences I've had. And, you know, sadly for your listeners, you know, when I was commanding in Afghanistan, I did lose 2 soldiers on my watch. And, you know, as a commanding officer, that is the worst thing that can happen. But I do remember in the wake of both events, going to sit down with the soldiers in the immediate teams that had been part of that incident. And I didn't think about it at the time, but, you know, the desire was obviously to get those soldiers back up, remotivated, back on operations. But I think the quality that I, with hindsight, exuded more than anything else was kindness. And kindness has this ability to, I think, repair. It has certainly an ability to get people to make sense of the world around them. And for me, when I shared those operational experiences, the sceptical military audience suddenly went, we recognise that. We absolutely recognise that. And so from it being a soft, touchy-feely thing that you'd never do as a military person to, of course, that's exactly how we behave. And actually, it is obvious when you've spent time in the military, we are incredibly kind to each other. We are a family. We talk about being a family. And what does how does it feel to be in a good family? It feels like it's a very kind place to be. Can you imagine an organisation where kindness is an absolute implicit lived value of our organisation? Can you imagine there being bullying, harassment and discrimination? And of course, I went, well, no, of course not. I said, so here we are presiding over uncomfortable levels of BH and D, so surely this must be one of the responses to that. Well, that was 18 months ago that we kicked that off, and quite good timing actually, Rachel. Only a couple of days ago, the People Survey results for my organisation, which I left a month and a half ago, were published, and it was done at the tail end of my time. As an organisation within a bigger entity, what was extraordinary is the people scores. Right across every, I think there's 20 different areas have been sort of measured. We were at least 5, if not 10 percentile points above the average.
Wow.